In the winter of 2016, at a nondescript commuter station in New Jersey, a pattern emerged among the handful of late shift workers and night owls waiting for the last official train. Precisely at 12:44 a.m., they would hear the distant rumble of an approaching locomotive and see the headlight cut through the darkness of the tunnel. That the train that emerged was wrong. It was a string of older, matte black passenger cars, their windows dark as pits. No illuminated destination sign, no company markings, no familiar NJ transit livery. It didn't slow. It blasted through the station at full speed, a phantom express on invisible rails, its passage a thunderous gust of wind and noise that shook the platforms. At first, people assumed it was a freight train on a rare night run or some special equipment transfer. But when they checked the schedules, official, internal, historical, there was no listing, no slot, no record of any train authorized for that track at that time. The station manager, thinking it was a prank or a scheduling glitch, finally pulled the security footage from a random Tuesday night. The timestamp read 12:43:58. The platform was empty. At 12:44 exactly, the train entered the frame. It was sleek, silent on camera, and unnervingly dark. For exactly 17 seconds, it filled the screen. Then, at 12:44:17, the last car passed into the mouth of the far tunnel and vanished. Not just went into the tunnel, the footage showed it entering the dark archway, and then, impossibly, the tunnel appeared empty. The train was simply gone, not traveling deeper into the bore. The manager reran the clip a dozen times, a cold feeling settling in his stomach. He filed a report with transit security, marking it unexplained anomaly. The reports kept trickling in, always the same. 12:44 a.m., the dark train, the unsettling silence where there should be deafening noise. Commuters began to avoid the platform just before the witching hour. But Leo, a graphic designer working on a brutal deadline, missed the whispers. On a rainy Thursday, he was the only soul on the platform, exhausted, waiting for his delayed 1:05 a.m. train home. He checked his watch, 12:43. He felt the vibration in the rails first, a deep, subsonic hum that was different from the usual clatter. Then he saw the single, cold headlight. The dark train roared into the station. As it passed, Leo, driven by a curiosity that overrode fear, raised a hesitant hand in a half-wave. He wasn't expecting a response. He was just acknowledging the strange shared loneliness of the night. But then he saw it. In one of the pitch-black windows, a shape moved. Not a clear figure, but a denser patch of shadow within the dark. And then a pale hand-like shape slowly rose and pressed against the glass from the inside. It didn't wave back and forth. It simply appeared, held for a moment against the window as the car sped by, and then faded away. Leo stumbled back, his heart hammering. The train was gone, swallowed by the tunnel. The rest of his wait was a blur of panic. When his real train arrived, he boarded on shaking legs, convinced he was overtired, seeing things. He went home, tried to sleep, and almost convinced himself it was a dream. Almost. The next morning, making coffee, Leo absently checked his transit card balance online. His blood ran cold. There was a charge on his statement from last night. A trip had been logged. Departure 12:44 a.m. from the very station where he'd been waiting. The destination field, where a station name should be, read Arrival, Unknown. The fare was listed as $0. He had never boarded. He had never swiped his card. He had only waved. Leo called transit security immediately, his story tumbling out. The dark train, the wave, the charge. This time, security listened with grave attention. They cross-referenced his story. The security footage from that night showed Leo on the platform. It showed the 12:44 train passing. It showed him raising his hand. And then, for 3 frames, a fraction of a second, the camera's image distorted wildly, as if hit by an electromagnetic pulse. When the picture cleared, Leo was gone. He did not board his later train. He did not exit the station gates. He had vanished from the platform between one blurry frame and the next. An immediate, quiet but intense investigation was launched. Teams went into the tunnel the train always entered. They found nothing. No unusual tracks, no hidden spurs, no evidence of any train's passage beyond the official ones. Within a week, under the guise of critical structural repairs, the tunnel was sealed. A massive reinforced concrete barrier was erected just inside the entrance, bolted shut and plastered with warning signs. The official statement was bland, citing safety concerns, but the workers who poured the concrete and welded the beams exchanged nervous glances. The air in the tunnel had been ice cold, and the silence felt heavy, like something was listening. The station moved on. The 12:44 a.m. slot on the board was formally assigned to maintenance. The concrete barrier became a permanent grim feature. Leo was declared a missing person, his case grown cold. But the story didn't die. It seeped into the bones of the place, becoming gospel among the night crews and veteran conductors. They speak in low tones in the break rooms. They say that if you're in the maintenance corridors near the sealed tunnel after midnight, sometimes you'll feel the rails vibrate with a familiar, deep rhythm. Sometimes, if you listen closely through the thick concrete, you can hear it. Not the modern electric whine of the commuter trains, but the older, rhythmic chugging of a diesel locomotive, accompanied by the faint metallic shriek of wheels on a curve that no longer exists on any track map. It's the sound of a train that isn't supposed to be there, forever running its route, forever looking for passengers. And the old-timers will warn any new worker who draws the midnight shift. Don't linger near the sealed end of Platform 3. And if, against all reason, you ever see a dark train approaching where none should be, don't make eye contact with the windows. And above all, they say, never ever wave back.